Everyone, and today I'll be talking about by analogy. I want to talk by analogy because what you see will not look like Nestlé. I didn't want this to look like Nestlé, but it is Nestlé in a way. It is the spirit I wanted to create all over those years. When I worked for Nestlé, I've been working 33 years at Nestlé, 20 years in the business, 13 years in HR. And I'm very thankful for these abilities to build bridges. Because not being a genuine HR, I was very naive on many ways. And I was happy to be naive because this helped me a lot to bring those elements into force, meaning that these are elements of the business that are for the business, but into the vector of HR. And the first thing is disruption, which is kind of a word I love to use. It's a little bit overused sometimes, but doesn't matter. We'll look at it. The whole element will be looking at how disruption is really the thing that is happening today. And in fact, we'll look through a double lens. We'll be looking at innovation and innovative. And in fact, sometimes we can take them as opposite or complementary. I think they live together, but innovation cannot be existing without an innovative mindset. Otherwise, it's randomness. Yeah, you can play the lottery and win because you had one ticket, but if you want to win, you have to play a lot. And this is what it is about. If you want to have innovation, you have to have an innovative mindset. Definitely. So I need to ask you to make sure that we are in the right setup. Age is a little bit determinant here. What is the connection between those two items? Exactly, right. Okay. So you're good. We can continue. I was a little bit unsure whether we could continue or not. We can continue. Now, ask the question to your nephews, to your nieces, to your kids. What will the answer be? They don't know. They may not know. And that's the thing. This was central to our lives, and it's gone. This is the same. The Sony Walkman, the films. I asked our daughters, what is this? They told me some radios or a camera. They had no clue. They had never seen it. So it's the same. Things are gone, and the best example for it is Steve Shannon. Steve Shannon worked for a company that invented this element, 1975. Probably you've seen that picture, you know what it is. You know what that is? It looks like a projector, right? It's just the reverse of it. It's the first portable digital camera, 4 kilograms, so you can still carry that one, right? And you have the memory here, you have everything. You have the cassette, by the way, the cassette that takes the 23 seconds to record a picture. 0.01 megapixel, 0.01. So 10,000 pixel. This was, which company could it be, of course? Yeah, Kodak, obvious. They invented the digital camera, and this invention killed them. Why such? Why were they pioneer scouting trailblazers and it killed them? Well, there are several reasons. Because if I am Steve Shannon and I bring that camera in front of the board, they might say no, and they did say no. After probably there were hot exchanges on that. But the issue is that it kills the business model that pre-existed. Kodak is selling films. And this kills the films. And of course, in 1975, you don't have an ecosystem where you can plug that onto a computer, a TV set or whatever, and watch your pictures. And not talking about exchanging them. No internet at that time. 20 years later will internet be appearing. So this killed them because they didn't embrace that. Business model transformation. The classical sentence that we have seen. The same happened over again. Sony had vinyl, the CDs. They sold it twice, by the way. What you had in vinyls, they resold you in CDs. And they had the music catalog. And yet, and they had also the Walkman and the Discman and everything. And yet, when download comes, they have not been embracing transformation. They left it to Apple, coming with an integrated solution with iTunes Store. And the device and the revenues out of it. Why? Because Sony was selling plastic CDs. And a virtual element would kill them. And then when streaming comes, Apple is not going into that because it would kill the revenue of the Apple Store. And it deeply shows what has happened in the industry and what will happen in the industry. This one is exemplary to what will happen to all industries. So basically you have first dematerialization. So you go to service and then you stop owning it. The ownership. Yeah, similar to cars maybe. We stop owning cars, we lease cars today. We stop owning them. Very interesting. And the next thing that happens, we were in a world of scarcity. And that world of scarcity is over. We enter in a world of abundance, where you have a free menu. That will be applied to every single industry. Not maybe fully, but partially as well. So this is the deep transformation that will happen, and abundance will reign. We will go through 5 key elements today. What is the future of cars? How will they transform society? The future of cars is driverless. Electric, hydrogen, I don't know. So far electric, we'll see. But there will be no drivers. Autonomous. There will be no accidents. There will be no insurance. If I were a car insurance company, I would start to consider in 20, 30 years what will happen with if there is no accident. We don't own cars at that time. Cars will pick up. There will be no traffic police. There will be no penalties. So the world will be deeply transformed by elements that will be coming up. Cars will be a launch, so maybe, or they stay a car. But will they still be cars in that meaning of what we have today? Or will they become, I skip this one, will they become places of health where you can monitor your health, where you will be focused deeply on the consumer, where you will start looking at the consumer, not a paying person, but looking for a purpose, and the car will be a mobility plus maybe something linked with health, body, mind, and soul. I make a bet. Otherwise, it's still selling metal on wheels. Who will be the owner of cars if not us? Google? Deutsche Bahn? Many possibilities. And this is how we've been raised, knowing our competitor. We know them well. We know them very well because they were at school with us. They face the same problems. But I challenge ourselves. What about our disruption? Because disruption is probably much more challenging than competition. And this is what we have to aim for. Where is our disruption? And it's everywhere. It is when people, consumers, become citizens because they have a voice. So looking at consumers simply as consumers as they were before is looking at competition without looking at disruption. Consumers have become citizens. They have a voice. Our employees at Nestlé, they are also part of Greenpeace, which is opposed to some elements we do. Citizens. How do you take the voice of those people? How do you integrate that and make sure that, yes, We represent beyond the shareholders. We represent a force for good that convinces outside. And those are two key squares that I'll be showing. The first one is a technical one. These are the deep transformations that will come up in the next 10, 15, 20 years. We'll end up having quantic IT, which will be revolutionizing element. We're talking 5G, but the 6G is ready in 2030. We don't talk that too much about it, but it will accelerate. And with quantic IT coming up, things will dramatically change. Internet of Things, of course, everything connected. Dystopic, utopic, we'll see. But this will happen with or without us. Anything that is here written, plus minus, will be happening. What the engagement should be, what the transformation will happen is on the human side. How are we ready to embrace that change in a mirror aspect of our leadership? Are we ready to be going a little bit ambidextrous, meaning that at the same time we should be doing both? If the technical element go one way, leadership will have to go to stay where we are, and to embrace the upcoming elements. Being ambidextrous. It's a little bit schizophrenic sometimes, but we need to be understanding that purpose and profit are important. We need to understand that teams and communities are very important as well. Leading, fine. How do you inspire people? And what is around will be exponential. The transformation we'll be going through will be exponential. And that's something we will not escape. So the question I ask is, who is going to disrupt your business? Who is going to break your tie? Yeah. And who should do that? It's about disruption. So we say competition, we say disruption, yes. But it should be us. We should be the one to disrupt. Are we equipped to disrupt our business? Or are we delivering the 3-month result quarter on quarter? Are we ready to take a team to challenge and see what's happening outside? Because maybe if you disrupt, you can disrupt from inside, but also looking at what's happening outside. At Nestlé, we're like 270,000 people. That's brilliant people, 270,000 brains. But there are probably 10 times more brains thinking about the same issues outside. So what are the chances? We can match that internally only. And that's about innovation and renovation. That's a classical one. Renovation is you renovate what you have. Innovation, you project into the future. You solve unconscious problems. That is what is happening outside. Startups are deeply involved in solving unconscious problems. Unconscious for the mass of us, but for them, they've seen something unique. It's about roots and wings. And roots and wings is the core of everything we should be doing. Roots and wings is the element where we should be leveraging the existing. This is what pays our salaries. This is what makes the profit. This is what makes success of the companies today. And tapping into the future. At the same time, this is being ambidextrous. At the same time, doing the renovation of the existing, securing strong financial basis, and plugging yourself into the future. Looking at what is it that will transform the environment, the company, the purpose we have, and that will protect your company into the future. And by the way, those wings one day will become roots. into a classical cycle. But are we equipped? Do we have the right people? Because technology is deeply transforming. So the way leaders today have to embrace change is probably not exactly the same as it was in the past. Because of technology, because of the skills of those new comers on the market. They're extremely skilled. Technically, they beat us by far. So what's our role as leaders? It's probably not to try and beat them on their own field. Their turf is protected in a way by their knowledge. So leave it to them. Make sure you're able to send them ahead of ourselves. And this is the argument I want to make today, is that we need to embrace disruption through others. Because the age test we had with the cassette shows that we are ahead in terms of leadership, but lagging behind in terms of technicities oftentimes. I don't want to generalize, but oftentimes we have to rely on the skills of the next generation. And even more so now. And the way to go for that is, this is how we have been educated. But this is the way we should push them. Break the rules. Don't break the law. And the law is important in a way. These are the values and principles of our companies. These are the things that will secure that we are able to push forward and help them support them. There's one common cradle every company has, is like a family, is the values and principles. And those ones are the ones to be kept. Those ones will secure that you can do roots and wings at the same time. But the way you do it, the way you support the next generation, the skilled ones, you organize or disorganize your own company depends on you. And by the way, oftentimes, I used to say that Nestlé doesn't exist. There are elements in countries, in businesses. This is where you can change. You cannot change a monster like the size of a huge international company. You cannot change that. But you change what is happening in your vicinity. And that makes a whole of a difference. So I just would like a little help on that one. You probably have spotted. Yeah, this one is wrong, right? Merci. That's exactly about that. For our right, we are trained to spot the wrong. That's how we have been educated, on the red pen. I can take you to China, I can take you to Mexico, I can take you to France, wherever. We have been educated on the red pen. It's fine. But possibly we need also to embrace that. And it is for sure that the next generation, the people who are coming after us, they need a bit more of that than the one stick on the head that we had all our lives. And this is what the whole element is about. This is the argument I want to say today, is that we need to boost people for what their qualities and their skills are. We need to help them create that positiveness of engagement towards those principles, serving. And sometimes they don't want to serve the shareholder. They want to serve the purpose. That is fine. And I think we should serve first the purpose, first the consumers, and then the shareholders will be happy. They only come second because we succeeded in the purpose. And this is where we get people inspired by a purpose. Or they don't come, which is fully okay as well. So we are not born to fix. We're born to build. We are born to transform. And this happens through an ecosystem. And the ecosystem we have is basically the classical one. With the core business, the suppliers, customers, we need to tap. We need to tap in a world that is outside, that is extremely powerful in terms of creation. It is the startups, it is the, where are they? The universities, the academics, the schools. The venture capitals are a great array for that, a great support. You have, I think this one, yeah, competition. Competition is cooperating with your competition on a higher purpose. So the engagement we need to have is far beyond the first circle that we have been having, that is in a way transactional. We need to get away from the pure transactional aspect and tap into the resources that are outside. And I would say VCs and startups and universities are fantastic resources to accelerate the march of your business. NGOs and unions are challenges that we need to compute into our values, because they put the finger where it hurts, and that helps. Greenpeace helps companies. They hurt, but they help companies to focus on their purpose. Thou shalt transform the old and the new. That's our role. Thank you. Thanks.